4 points can disappear in one night. Arsenal sit top of the Premier League on 58 points. Manchester City are on 53. On paper, that still looks like control. But look closer. Arsenal just dropped points again. A 2-2 draw away at Wolves. Another match where control slipped at the margins. And this is after the 1-1 draw against Brentford, where their first shot on target didn't arrive until the goal itself. That's not dominance. That's survival. Now add the context. Manchester City have a game in hand. If they win it, the gap tightens immediately. Arsenal still have to visit the Etihad Stadium, and if Arsenal lose that match, City could take control of the Premier League table. Suddenly, the lead doesn't feel secure. It feels temporary. There are 12 matches left in this title race. 12. If Manchester City win every remaining league game, the title is theirs, regardless of what Arsenal do. That's the mathematical pressure sitting underneath this table. While Arsenal were wrestling with tension at Wolves, City were dismantling Fulham 3-0. Efficient, controlled, clinical. The kind of performance that doesn't scream. It signals. And this is where the Pep Guardiola question always returns. Has he still got the hunger? Is this a rebuilding season? Is the dominance fading? We've asked these questions before. Pep has answered them before. The people start to say it's over. It's over, but it's not over. It will be over when it's over. That's the tension. This isn't about a collapse. It's about hesitation. It's about small margins turning into psychological weight. Because when the calendar tightens and the pressure builds, 4 points can disappear very quickly. And if City arrive at the Etihad within one result of Arsenal, the title race doesn't belong to the leaders anymore. It belongs to the hunters. If Arsenal want a warning sign, they don't need to search far. They only need to rewind to 2022/23. That season, Arsenal were not accidental leaders. They were bold, structured, fast. For months, they sat at the top of the table and looked like the story was already written. But title races rarely collapse in one dramatic crash. They erode. It started quietly. A 2-2 draw at Anfield. Arsenal led. They couldn't close it. Then another 2-2 against West Ham. Again, control. Again, points slipping. 2 weekends, 2 leads lost. 4 points gone, not a disaster, not panic, just hesitation. And this is where Pep Guardiola does something different. He doesn't chase the table, he chases psychology. Once a team drops points while leading, they begin playing 2 matches at once. The match on the pitch and the match inside their heads. Then came April 26, 2023. Manchester City 4-1 Arsenal at the Etihad. That wasn't just a defeat, it was a transfer of belief. City didn't just win the match, they seized emotional control of the title race. From that moment, momentum shifted. City accelerated. Arsenal tightened. The pressure that had been building quietly finally had direction. By the end of the season, City finished with 89 points. Arsenal with 84. The collapse wasn't loud. It was cumulative. Pressure accumulation, doubt, acceleration, ruthless execution. Guardiola doesn't panic in February. He engineers inevitability by April. So when Arsenal drop points at Wolves, when shot volume shrinks at Brentford, when the gap narrows with a game in hand, the question isn't just about points. It's about pattern recognition. Is this a new story, or is the same mechanism beginning again? Because if history has a rhythm, it tends to repeat itself when the pressure feels familiar. And right now, the rhythm sounds very similar. If history is repeating, it's not repeating loudly, it's repeating quietly. Look at what Manchester City have done in the last week alone. They went to Anfield and won 2-1, a chaotic, high-pressure environment. The kind of game that tests nerve more than structure. Bernardo Silva equalized late. Erling Haaland finished it from the spot in stoppage time. Champions survive those nights. Then they returned home and dismantled Fulham 3-0. But the Fulham game matters more than the scoreline. City were 3-0 up inside 39 minutes. Then they managed the second half. No emotional overspending. No unnecessary chaos. Press early. Control later. Blueprint football. That's the most dangerous version of City. Not the version chasing perfection. The version chasing outcomes. And here's the new layer that makes this chase feel different. It's not just Haaland. Yes, he's on 22 league goals, scoring like a metronome. But this isn't a one-man surge. It's structural depth activating at the right time. January signings are already influencing rotation. New contributors stepping in without the rhythm collapsing. Cup matches handled without sacrificing league intensity. That changes everything. Because when reinforcements contribute immediately, Guardiola gets flexibility without fragility. Rotation stops being a risk. It becomes a weapon. And this is what Arsenal have to fear. Congestion doesn't break City. Historically, it sharpens them. There's also a subtle identity shift happening. City are not trying to dominate beautifully every week anymore. They're dominating efficiently. Faster switches, earlier leads, cleaner game management, less emotional expenditure. This is not a team chasing aesthetics. This is a team preparing for April. And when a Guardiola side starts shortening the gap while looking calm, the table becomes misleading. Because momentum in a title race is not about points alone. It's about trajectory. Arsenal are leading. City are accelerating. And acceleration is always more dangerous than stability. Momentum explains results. Structure explains why they last. What's changing inside Manchester City isn't dramatic. It's architectural. Under Pep Guardiola, evolution rarely looks like revolution. It looks like adjustment, small positional refinements that compound over weeks. The clearest shift is central superiority. City are consistently building with a box midfield structure, a 2+2 shape inside, 2 deeper controllers, 2 advanced interiors occupying half spaces. This creates numerical superiority in the center and dictates where the opponent is allowed to press. Press wide, City collapse inside. Press inside, City release wide. That control of geography is everything. But the 2026 edge isn't just about having 4 in midfield. It's what that structure protects. Behind the ball, City's rest defense looks stronger and more stable. When they lose possession, they're already positioned to suffocate transitions early. Fewer emergency sprints, fewer broken games, fewer chaotic moments. They don't just attack well, they are prepared for when the attack fails. That's title run football. There's also a tempo recalibration. Earlier in the season, City sometimes looked patient to the point of predictability. Now the circulation is sharper. Switches of play happen faster. Wide channels are accessed earlier. The opponent doesn't get time to reset their defensive block. It's subtle, but devastating. Because once the first press is broken, City don't hesitate. They accelerate into the weak side immediately. And when they press, it's not random aggression. It's territorial pressing. They don't just chase high. They force the opponent into predefined traps. Passing lanes are shaped in advance. Second balls are hunted collectively. The halfway line becomes a cage. Opponents don't just lose the ball, they lose oxygen. This is the difference between a team in form and a team engineered for April. A team in form wins when rhythm flows. A team engineered for April wins when rhythm dies. Against Fulham, City scored early and then managed the match. That's structural confidence. Score, compress space, control tempo, spend less emotional energy. It's not glamorous dominance, it's efficient inevitability. And this is where the contrast with Arsenal becomes uncomfortable. Arsenal's best football thrives on control and rhythm. City's late season football thrives on compression and suffocation. When the calendar tightens and matches become heavy, structure matters more than style. And right now, City's structure looks built not just to chase the table, but to squeeze it. At this point, the title race is no longer about who looks better. It's about who handles the squeeze. For Manchester City, the blueprint is brutally simple. First, stay within one result. Pep Guardiola has built his chases on proximity. Don't allow the gap to stretch. Keep it at 3 points or less. Keep Arsenal looking over their shoulder. If City arrive at the Etihad within 1 win of the top, the pressure flips instantly. The leaders stop leading. They start defending. Second, win ugly, win routinely. Fixture difficulty suggests City's run-in is tougher on paper. That means this cannot be about performance perfection. It has to be about weekly accumulation, 3 points at a time. No emotional overspending, no chasing spectacle, just stacking results until April compresses the table. Third, rotate like it's a weapon. Cup competitions, Europe, domestic demands, congestion is coming. City's advantage historically hasn't just been talent, it's workload management, depth used without destabilizing structure. If rotation maintains control instead of disrupting rhythm, City survive the calendar while others feel it. Fourth, keep Haaland decisive. Title races often swing on margins. A late penalty, a rebound, a single transition. When your striker turns half chances into inevitability, tight games become victories instead of draws. In a chase model, match winners are oxygen. City's non-negotiable is clear. Arrive at the Etihad close enough that one night can reorder everything. Because if they do, history suggests something uncomfortable. Guardiola does not panic in March. He compresses. He waits. He accelerates when the opponent hesitates. And this is the real tension now. Arsenal are top. They've earned that position. But February tables don't award trophies. If City keep the gap within touching distance, the psychological weight shifts. Arsenal stop playing to win the league. They start playing not to lose it. And that is the moment Guardiola has built his career mastering. The table shows a small gap, but the season will not be decided by arithmetic. It will be decided by who handles pressure when the calendar tightens, when legs grow heavy, when one mistake echoes louder than usual. 4 points look comfortable until they aren't. And when the squeeze arrives, we've seen how this story can end.